We're good to go. I think we're going to get started. Anyways, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Derek Schultz. I'm an account executive here at Level. I help Jacob run all the demos, helping onboard customers of all different sizes, and I'm happy to be here. But today, I'm really excited. This is a feature that I've been bugging Jacob about for a long time, and it's finally here. And I'm super, super excited because everybody asked me for it on pretty much every call. So I'll go ahead and let Jacob introduce himself as well. He probably doesn't need much of an introduction, but there's also some other things that he wants to go over, roadmap related, and I'll let him take the floor from here. So,
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate everyone taking the time to join. I'm thrilled that you guys could make it, even though we had to reschedule. Yeah, the focus here is going to be walking you through the latest reporting features that we're going to launch, like today, right now, and give you as well like a sneak peek of what's coming next with reporting, as well as in Level itself. So the agenda is going to be pretty straightforward today. We're just going to be introducing the new reporting capabilities, jumping into a live demo, and then as always, we'll of course have time for questions at the end as well. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
or one more note, Jacob, if anybody
Mhm.
had any questions, drop them in the Q&A section, not the main chat. It's just easier for us to keep track of, and um, it just helps her flow. And I'll pause Jacob if anybody has any questions. Other than that, we'll save it for the end of the webinar. But sorry, go ahead, Jacob.
Cool. Yeah, no problem. All right. Did you guys see my screen okay? All right. So we have this new reporting section now. I'll just go ahead and click into it. This isn't on production just yet, but it will be right at the end of this meeting. So um, I guess I could start with kind of just explaining why reporting is so powerful or why you need it. But yeah, with these new dashboards and reports, you can see really an overview of your entire fleet and narrow this down to specific groups so you can know exactly what's going on with your Windows, Mac, and Linux updates, kind of like a high-level snapshot that can help you stay up to date of new issues. Um, and it gives you this real-time insight into the overall health and security so you're not left in the dark. Another neat aspect of this reporting view, probably one of my favorite, is the ability to quickly share these reports. So you can export these reports to keep various stakeholders or clients informed on what you're doing for them, what the state of their devices are, and you can filter these reports down to specific device groups so they can be really tailored. And best of all, that report is completely brandable. So it'll show your logo on it when you send it to your clients, as long as you have that logo uploaded. So as you can see, we have three reports here along the side: general, security, and insights. And we'll of course start with this general report. And this gives you kind of a broad overview of everything in your environment, like the overall device status, recent activity, high level metrics. It's like a quick snapshot if you want to see how things are running across the board without diving into details. So I can very quickly see, I have 70 workstations here, 72 servers, how many Windows, Mac, or Linux devices. All of this data here is clickable. So if I wanted to see like, what are these, Ubuntu devices, I can click right into it and the filters automatically applied and I can see what devices made up that data. And so we can, of course, do that. Like maybe I want to see what are these VirtualBox devices. I can click right into them and we can see what those are. So this is kind of a good place to start if you're doing like a weekly check-in. It just gives you a broad sense of where to focus, where there might be a spike in alerts for a certain day. So here we can look at the last 7 days or the last 30 days and really see, is there a trend in our alerts? Derek?
Yeah, question in the chat says, can these reports be sent on a schedule, maybe through an automation action? What will that look like?
It's a great question, and they can't yet, but that's something that's on our roadmap, and I'll touch on that like actually in a few minutes, but not yet is the answer. All right. So you can drill into these numbers to kind of see what made up those numbers. You can see a really good trend line for alerts over time, which is very nice as well. And you can see kind of resolve versus not resolve, the average resolution time, and very quickly have like a good pulse on the heart of your infrastructure. Next, we'll jump into this security report. This is kind of my favorite report. It's your go-to for vulnerability monitoring, your patching, and to see if there's any real or potential threats that you might have. And this is a great place if you're looking for the summary of what's been patched, what might be at risk, and where you need to focus next from a security standpoint. This is where you want to go. So here we can see very quickly what's our average security score, what devices maybe are very high risk. We click right in. Here's our high risk endpoints and level. We can see update summary, how many are out of date versus current. And this is based on the patch compliance standards for your account. We can see what our firewall and AV providers are, which endpoints are reporting healthy or not. And just like the general report, you're able to drill into these as well. I'm going to jump and show you kind of what our production account looks like, because I think it's maybe a better representation of like a healthy account. So if we jump over to the security section for our production account, here you can see all of our devices are low risk. We have a very good security score. And if we jump down here, we can see, we have very good update success. Out of 5,000 updates over the last 30 days, only 15 of those updates failed. And we have an average of 0.01 updates available per device. Again, I can see what does the last 30 days of patching look like. I can see, oh, on March 19th, we installed 3,500 patches. That's a lot, right? So you can see these trends and see um, which devices may be at risk. Okay, lastly, let's jump back over to our development account and let's dive into this insights report. And this is a great report, I think, for sharing with your clients and customers. This is where you can really demonstrate your ROI, especially as an MSP. You can show how many automations have been running over a certain time frame, how many alerts were automatically resolved, how quickly you're dealing with these issues on average. And you can even highlight where techs were most active or how many tasks were completed. This is great for sharing with your clients. One of the things that I didn't mention is that all of these reports can be filtered down to specific groups. So for example, if I wanted to just show this one device group, which has no devices in it, let me choose one that has some devices in it, like this Windows one. Right. So now this general report, the security report, the insights report, everywhere I go is filtered to just this specific device group, allowing us to really tailor what we're showing. Further, if I export this, it's going to be scoped down to just this group. So if I'm trying to share it with a client, I want to scope it to just that client's group. With the insights report, you're also able to scope it to a time period. So right now we're showing the last 7 days, but if I wanted to see the last 30 days, I can expand that and we can see that. And um, I think in this particular case, this report is a great conversation starter. Sometimes you have automations running so smoothly that you're solving issues before your clients even notice that there's a problem. But with the insights report, it could be a real eye opener. You can highlight exactly how many automations are you running for them on a regular basis, what's your average resolution time, and I think you might find a lot of your clients saying, I had no idea that you were even taking care of all of this stuff behind the scenes. And and this really opens the door to discussions about whether you can tweak automations or further fine tune specific strategies. So again, I'll show you what this looks like on a few different accounts here, but on our development account, we can see, over the last 30 days, we've ran, almost 800 automations. And here's our popular automations that we're running. And we can see those automations out over that last 30-day period, as well as how many instances of service, whether remote control or background management we had to do, and what's the most popular tests. Again, let me hop over to our production account. We'll pull up our insights report. And yeah, we'll do the last 30 days as well. And here you can see, like in our case, we're running 2,400 automations over that last 30-day. We're running about 80 automation runs per day with 136 devices. We can see kernel cleanup is by far the most popular automation, followed by our patching automations for each of our different environments. You can also see, like, are most of these running automatically on scheduled runs, or are they running through remediation triggers or manual triggers? Yeah, so there's a lot of really neat data that you could glean from these reports. But I also want to emphasize that this is really just the beginning. We're actively working on expanding our reporting capabilities, and we're excited about giving you even more ways that you can interact with the data that you care about and that you need to see. One of those, great question earlier, but we're hoping to allow you to start scheduling these reports so that you can um, run it within a scheduled automation and then send it out to your client with that export PDF option. But we do want to hear from you. We want your feedback. We want your input. So as you start playing around with reporting over the next week or so, definitely reach out to support. Let us know, what additional reports would you like to see? What new metrics? Are there new layouts or additional data that you'd find useful? We would love to hear that. Feel free to submit a feature request or reach out to support. We'd love to hear about those as well. A couple other things that I wanted to highlight that's changed in Level, not necessarily directly related to reporting. One of them, it has to do with some new functionality that we've released. So let me switch over to a different environment and show you that. So one of the first new changes that we added kind of to support all of this reporting is we've added a bunch of new filters within our device listing. And we're going to continue to expand these filter options available, adding practically every metric that we have available in Level as a filter in the near future. But right now, you'll see there's a lot of new filters in place. We're also going to be expanding these columns soon as well. One of the other changes that we've made recently has to do with encryption management. So previously, you might have been managing BitLocker encryption keys manually, using like scripts, or not manually, but using an automation and scripts with custom fields. That's no longer needed. Any device now that has is encrypted in some way, whether it's Mac, Windows, or Linux, Level will indicate when you look at that device. If you see the lock, that means it's encrypted. And if you click right here, you'll be able to view the encryption key and copy that directly for the device. So you no longer have to use a custom field for that. Additionally, we've added a bunch of new automation actions for this. So let me show you what that looks like. So here we'll create a new automation. I'm just going to call it enable encryption. And I'll do this when the encrypted tag is applied to any device. And now if we scroll down, we'll see these new automation actions here that handle encryption. So we don't have to write scripts anymore. If I want to enable disk encryption on a device, I can just choose this built-in action. Windows can, and we can encrypt all drives, but on Mac and Linux, we can only encrypt the system drive. So here, we'll just do a little check here. So on Windows, we're going to go ahead and do all drives. And we'll do the same thing, the next one, except this is going to be the system drive only. So now we have a really simple automation. When the encrypted tag is applied, we're going to enable encryption on Windows and Mac, and you saw that the encryption keys are going to be stored for you automatically. I could also very quickly build an automation to rotate that encryption key as well. So this maybe we do on a monthly schedule, do like the last Sunday of the month. And for this, I'll just do Windows. And we'll jump down here. And we're going to rotate the disk encryption key. And one thing that I forgot to do was limit this to just devices with the encrypted tag. There we go. So now in a couple actions, no scripting, any device that's encrypted every Sunday, we're going to rotate that encryption key and Level will automatically save that for you. No scripting, all built-in native Level encryption actions. Similarly, you can also disable encryption. So if I wanted to, I could have when the encrypted tag is removed, we can turn off encryption. All right, so that covers the new automation actions, the new device listing filters, as well as our new reporting section. I do want to give kind of a sneak peek into where we're going next. As I mentioned, we're going to be adding more device columns, more filters. We're also planning kind of an overhaul of our device listing in the very near future with adding saved views and a lot of like overall usability improvements, including dark mode. So all of that will be coming in the next few months. Yeah, we're excited about that. So yeah, I think that's it for me. I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Derek for Q&A if we have any.
Cool. Cool. There was one in the chat. I was letting you finish up automation actions, but they were saying, hey, are you planning on integrating this report data to PSAs like the ones we have, Halo, CW, Zest, to surface in their dashboard too? Or can we sync the reports back into PSAs?
Honestly, that's not something that I've even thought about. So yeah, I would encourage you to yeah, reach out, tell us what you're looking for. How would that work? What does that look like? Um, yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Um, but as of right now, there is no syncing of the reports. But if that's important, definitely let us know and we'll take a look into it.
Nick, I'll ping you later on and just see exactly what you're looking for in terms of what you want imported over. Cool. Any other questions in the chat? Nothing yet. Pretty quiet. Crickets in the chat. When will patch policies be removed? That's a good question. Is that like fully going away soon?
Yeah, very soon. Um, I don't have like an ETA, but it's on our list. I think we've disabled the ability to create new patch policies, so it's going to be very soon. And we're trying to get people as long as possible to migrate themselves to patch automations. And then, yeah, we'll eventually pull the trigger and migrate the rest for them.
Sweet. Dominic says a registry viewer in direct editor would be cool. I agree.
Mhm.
That would be really sweet. Ian says, are there plans to make a public dashboard available to put up on a Knox screen without having to log in as a user, like a viewing only screen for reports?
That's a neat idea. I don't have any plans for that as of yet, but yeah, we'd love to have that. Submit that as a feature request. Yeah, I think that's a really neat idea.
Adrian says, unrelated to reports, will Level be made more mobile browser friendly? Hard to use when on a Safari on the iPhone. So do we have mobile plans at all in the future?
Um, Yeah, I mean, we have a really small team, so we have to be very focused on where we spend our time and energy. And we find the vast majority of our users are going to be using Level on a laptop or a desktop just because of the nature of how data-driven the platform is. At some point, we would love to have maybe even a mobile app to help facilitate management when you're on the go. Um, but yeah, that just requires us to spend several months working on on that instead of on other new pieces of functionality like reporting. So it's a balancing act of where are we going to focus our resources and time. So as of right now, I don't think mobile is a big priority for us, but maybe next year we would focus more on some of that mobile experience.
And George asked again, he said, what affects it? What affects if updates are managed automations? And the answer is yeah. Patches are going to be totally handled through automations, which in our opinion, the reason we did that is because you have so much more flexibility when you're managing patches out of automations. And Jacob, you might be able to touch on that for those who don't know a little deeper than I would.
Yeah, um, we wrote a pretty good article on this on our blog, but essentially, to summarize, the change to patching automations is just so you can control what happens pre-patch, post-patch. You have more targeting options rather than just tag. You can target by group or type, um, variety of different things. You can utilize custom fields and variables. We have retrying with automation actions. So if there's a failure, you can retry a few times, which is helpful with patching. Um, there's better offline handling. So if a device is online, we can resume patching when the device comes back online. It's just substantially more powerful. So yeah,
Thank you, Jacob. What else do we got in here? Fennel said, what about managing mobile devices? Mobile devices, that is down the road. Jacob, do you have a rough timeline on mobile devices?
we would love to manage mobile devices. Um, it is not on the cards this year. Um, I don't have any other timeline other than that. I think we would need to hire a dedicated developer just to focus on iOS and Android if we were going to start managing those devices. So we would have to do a bit of expansion on the team side. So probably next year or the year after that.
Sweet, sweet. Also be able to create, Dominic says, also be able to create custom menus or buttons to execute script commands. I'd be curious to get more information on that exactly.
I
What
think I think we have something like this on the roadmap. I believe what Dominic is asking is it many we're in the future we're going to be adding some type of taskbar icon on Windows and a menu bar on Mac and Linux. And once that taskbar or menu bar is present, it would be neat if we could expose to the users the ability to run certain automations or scripts, maybe an automation to clear their DNS cache or reset Windows Update, that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, that's definitely on our roadmap. And I would say that that one is probably a this year roadmap item, if that's what you're referring to, Dominic.
Yeah, he is. That's exactly what he's referring to. Here's a fun one. So Adrian says Asana has a unicorn that shoots across the screen when you complete a task. He's really curious to know if we can have some sort of fictional animal appear when good things happen in level.
I'm sure our designer would love to hear you say that. And yeah, he's probably already working on it right now.
Yeah, been in development for a while. You mentioned retirees regarding automations, but would it make sense to have a retry button or option available on the alerts page when an automation fails? Does that make sense, Jacob?
Yes, and you're right. It would make sense. That's one of those views that we're going to be overhauling. Basically, every section is going to get an update this year. So we're going to be redoing alerts and the global updating view and a lot of these sections. And yeah, that's my goal is I want to be able to do things with these alerts. I want to be able to take actions, rerun the automation, run another automation, run scripts. Um, so yep, that makes sense. Definitely.
Oh, retries, not retirees. I can't read apparently.
I,
Anywho,
I know what you meant.
Kevin says, any plans for merch swag? Would love to represent the brand. I agree. I would love to get some really cool swag. I want some Travis Matthew polos. I want the down vests or whatever that may be. I think can get some cool stuff.
We do have some swag. If you want some, just email us, and we're happy to send it to you. We we have a bunch from the last conference that we went to. So Kevin, just email me, email Derek, or support anybody that wants swag. Happy to send you some.
We have so many t-shirts. If anybody wants a
So
t-shirt,
many. Yes.
email me and I will send you four of them. Dominico also says, is there a report listing the different types of patches launched on an individual device? Is that pullable in reports?
The different types of patches. Is that what he said?
I guess being able to globally view patches on devices. Is there? Oh yeah, there is. It's in the, I guess, individual over. If you click into an endpoint and click on patches, you can see the logs and the history of the patches on an endpoint.
Yep.
Cool. Another question. Even now with import/export taxes, because I'm in the EU. Funny.
Awesome.
Clear out
I'll
some of these
give
questions.
a little bit more time for some more questions to come in. And while they are, I will share just a sneak peek of dark mode, just to tease you guys of maybe how things will look for you in a couple months. We're doing some major changes to this device listing pages so we can add custom columns. Like I mentioned, more filters, more views, but we've heard you and we're adding dark mode. So stay tuned. It will be here soon. Any other PSA integrations planned that you can share about? I do know there is one PSA that is working on integrating with us right now. I'm trying to remember. Desk Day, I believe, is what they are called. Yes. So Deste is building an integration with Level right now. And I think that's the only one that I know of right now. But if you have a PSA that you're looking for, just reach out, let us know, and I'll see if I can get the ball rolling um, between us and the vendor. Please add high contrast, my eyes. Thank you. Yes, I think there was a discussion on that actually, so that might be in the cards as well.
I'm going through clearing out some of the older questions here. There we go.
Interested in having more API endpoints created to different pieces of functionality in the system. Zach, I would love to hear what API endpoints you're looking for. Our API, we're consistently expanding, and I think we are going to be adding a couple more endpoints, this month. But yeah, just let us know what endpoints you're looking for, and yeah, we'll do our best to get them added for you.
Here's another question. Are there any plans to integrate an antivirus such as Bitdefender's Gravity Zone? Gravity Zone on the roadmap at all?
I'm going to answer this two different ways. So they said, are there any plans to integrate in antivirus? Yes, we are going to do a deep integration with likely Sentinel-1. Um, and so that is on the roadmap. I don't have a solid ETA for that, but that's likely going to be the big integration that we're going to be doing in that regard. Outside of that, I believe we do have automations to install Gravity Zone as well in our library, and we also have a monitoring policy to monitor it. So I think in terms of like basic integration, you should be good to go with Gravity Zone already. Is an Autotask integration in the works? It's not in the works, but that's only because nobody's requested it that I can remember. So if you just reach out, submit a feature request for us, and I'll reach out to Autotask and see if we can get the ball rolling on that side. Nick, how about integrating to a compliance platform? Um, we have looked into an integration with Sprinto, which is the compliance platform that we use to get our SOC 2. And I think I've looked at Secure Frame as well. But if you have like a contact with somebody on their development team, I can try to get the ball rolling with that as well.
This one might have been a while ago. We might have missed it. Is there going to be more API endpoints created to different pieces of functionality in the system? So being
I
able to
answered
push,
that.
that's what I thought. Just making sure.
Yep. Yep. No worries.
Um, Integrating with the compliance platform. Did you answer the compliance question? I'm so sorry.
Yep. Yep. I just did.
Awesome.
That was a lot
Great.
of great questions, guys.
That was 30.
Um, yeah. Our next webinar is going to be kind of like an office hours. So you'll be able to ask. The whole webinar is going to be your questions. I'll build automations live, whatever you want to do. I'll try to figure out how to do it right there on the call. So if that's of interest to you, make sure to sign up for that webinar. It'll be at the end of this month. Um, yeah, a Jira integration. Right now, most of our companies will integrate just using the email integration. So when an alert is created in Level, they can kick that off to Jira. Obviously, that's not two-way. So if the alert closes on the Level side, it's not going to close on the Jira side or vice versa. But yeah, if you submit a feature request, we'll definitely look into building a Jira integration. I'm pretty sure I've gotten a few requests for that. So yeah, just reach out and I'll see if I can get the ball rolling.
Evan said, any plans for a mailing list for webinar registrations? Would love to subscribe to get notified. You might be the first customer to ever request being on a mailing list, which is hilarious. But absolutely, yeah, we could put that together. For sure. I'd be
That's
happy.
probably a great idea. Yeah, awesome. Any other questions? Anything else you guys want to see? Any other feedback? This is great. I love it. Awesome. Integration with the AI. Believe it or not, we've been kicking this around for almost a year now. So we do want to do something with an LLM or AI, but we want it to be not just a gimmick, like a marketing gimmick. We wanted to provide real value. And yeah, we have some ideas and concepts in play, and we're going to be doing something this year. Um, and it's going to add value. It won't be a marketing ploy. Um, so we're taking our time and trying to do it right. Is it possible to change the language of notifications? I guess it depends on the notification. So if it's coming from one of the ones that you generated, so like a user approval or a notify user action, you can type whatever you want in those notifications. But if it's like remote control, then it's unfortunately going to be hard coded in English. We would love to uh, nationalize the app and support more languages. I don't have a timeline or an ETA for that. I'm not sure that it's in the cards this year, but it is something that we're looking at. We have a lot of customers in the EU, and so it's becoming more and more important for us. So we'll do it at some point. I don't have an ETA though. So that's one for Klingon. Love it. I hear you. So the big pain point lately has been EDR, and yeah, it's actually been a pain point for a lot of our customers, and it's really solidified the importance of adding exclusions. If Level is your RMM and you're relying on it to manage your endpoints, this is why exclusions are so important to ensure that you don't lose management access to your devices in the event there's a false positive. And it's kind of my opinion that good EDRs should detect that there's some type of remote access tool or RMM on the endpoint, and they should alert if it's not your RMM. If you haven't added an exclusion, they should let you know that it's there. And many of them, most EDRs are flagging RMMs now as potentially unwanted applications or programs. And it just appears to be the world that we're living in. But we are working to establish direct relationships with every EDR and AV vendor. It's just an uphill battle for sure. In regards to a guide or documentation for this, let me reshare my screen here. We do have a pretty good documentation article that explains this. If you jump on docs.level.io and just type EDR, you'll see the first one here. It covers, the files that we need to exclude on Windows, Mac, and Linux. If you don't want to do like file-based exclusions, we cover, here's our certificate, so you could exclude us just by the signing certificate. And then here we kind of cover why this is necessary and, some troubleshooting and how to report false positives. But reach out to our support. We do have a lot of experience dealing with this, and sometimes we found with some EDRs, once they quarantine, even when they remove the quarantine, permissions are still out of whack. So don't hesitate to reach out to support. We have experience. We can get you back up and running and online. Awesome. Any other questions, guys? All right. Well, thanks again, everyone, for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I loved hearing your feedback. We're going to continue rolling out new features and new improvements as quickly and as frequently as we can. Like I mentioned, our next webinar is going to be like an office hour focused all on Q&A and building automations together. Um, with that, I'll return what's left of your time for today. So thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Appreciate it.
You guys, by the way, one more note for anybody. If anybody isn't already on level, then they would like to start a trial. It's free for 10 endpoints for life. So feel free to shoot me an email. I'll drop my email in the chat and I'll can hook you up with a free account for 10 endpoints.
Yep, and you can use that for your personal stuff too. So if you use Level at work and you want to just manage your family devices, just reach out. We're happy to extend that for you.
Cool.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Appreciate it.